So today we are building a responsibility matrix. This is a dynamic table allowing you to choose if you want to apply the RACI or the RASIC method to your tasks. Based on what you have chosen, you will be able to select only a letter based on that model. The color formatting is all automated based on your input and also grays out resources with no allocation. A cool feature is that you can actually specify which responsibility is mandatory or recommended. For instance, you could specify, I need every task to have someone responsible and to have someone accountable. And if one task doesn't have that, there is a warning message that will show on the margin of that task. Now this is our starting point. We're going to create a grid. I'm just going to do something random here, just a few on the right, a few on the left. And to start with, I'm just going to apply the grid default here so we can see what we are doing. I'm just going to put that a bit bigger. And the first one will be for the warning that we'll give. The second one will be for the task. So I'll just going to do this one bigger. And on top, it will be for the employees. So if you have long names, you probably would want to go there and put angle counterclockwise. So when you have something long like this, it should put it in an angle if all goes according to plan. So therefore, you will need to put this one a bit longer here, and this should be fine. Okay, so I've added some tasks on the left and some names on the right, and you can see the usefulness of this, putting this is an angle like this. The next step that we wanted to do is we want to create the validation here, those fields. We don't want users just to put random A or B or or S or whatever, because that could be dangerous, because they could do a typo and the likes, and also we want to make it look a little bit more user-friendly. But the challenge that we have is we have said foolishly that we want to give them the choice between RASI, which is this way, RACI, or RASIC. Or so there's several ways. I've seen RASIC, RASCI, or whatever. So we're just going to settle to this one here. So we want to give them the possibility to choose between RACI or RASCI. So that's interesting. How do we do this? Because usually a validation, you just go you just select everything if you want to do it all at once. And then you go under data. And then you go under data validation here, data validation. And then you just put a list here. And then in the list, you select, say, RASI. Okay, I'm just going to select the blank one. And then it's easy. You just do this. You just select it here. But now we have said that we want to give them the choice of choosing between RACI and RASCI. So how are we going to do this? So we need to first let them decide. Which one do you want? And interestingly enough, this also will be done by data validation. So where do I put it? I might just put that a bit here to start with. So here we want to have a colored field where we would ask them to choose. So I'm not going to be very fancy. I'm just going to hard code the choice. Data, where do we go? Data validation. And here we just put a list as well. And then we hardcode the choice, which means that we directly put the options here, RACI and RASIC. And we press enter. So therefore, this is where they will decide, do you want to have a RASI or do you want to have a RASIC? And therefore, when we are under this, instead of having just one choice, if they have selected RASIC here, we would validate against this one here. So then here the data validation gets a little bit more complicated, doesn't it? So we just need to go back here. We just need to go under data validation again. And here we're going to put a condition. We're going to put if that cell here is equal to RASIC. Once again, we're going to hard code it. RASIC. I don't know if I need to put, no, I'm just going to put RASIC without any commas. We gonna select the second one here, and or else if they don't have one, they have the other. So we know we have to select the other one. So we're just going to press enter, and I'm just going to check if it works. Let's see if this works better. Okay, so it works better when you put the commas. Good to know. So here RASIC, I can check the RASIC, and here RACI, I can take the RACI only. So this is done. Well, we look at making all this nicer further down the track. Okay, so now you select. Now before we progress, I'm just going to do a bit of tidying up here. And then going back live here, I'm just going to put the font in white because I want all that with darker colors. And what else? I think this is pretty much it. So now we can get started with the conditional formatting. So you can select everything first and you go under conditional formatting. And then you can, I suppose, use this as a starting point, highlight cells rules that equal to. So this is where you can use the Microsoft to the max. So format cells that are equal to, let's start with R. Now, if you want to follow my color scheme, I think I'm just using the standard one here. So for the R, I'll be using this one here, I believe. Let's see if it's strong enough against the white. Okay, let's just press IR. Let's just see if it works with R here. Okay, so we'll see in the end. I might have to give it something a bit stronger here. But now the second time, don't do that again. Just go back under manage rules instead and just duplicate it. And then you take the A. So I don't know if you want to follow my thingy, but the way I've done it is I've tried to group the ones that are important with the same colors. So here, for instance, I believe that R and A, which is responsible and accountable, are the most important. So therefore, I'm just going to give them stronger tones. Okay, we can keep going. So I'm just going to also do the S. I know the S won't be used for RASI, but we need to do it as well, just in case. Duplicate. I've decided now I'm going to put this one more a stronger purple, actually, the second one instead. So the S will be a bit different, will be S here. I want to give it a color in between, maybe the second one here. And then we duplicate twice. Then I'm going to go for the C, RACI, and I'm going to we're going to go to the blue this time. I'm going to put the second one here. And then the I. Just going to take the blue, maybe the top one here. Let's see. Let's see if anyone complains that it's not good enough. Okay, so I'm just going to put more data in here so we see what it looks like. Okay, so obviously there's some things that are not extremely logical here. Don't pay attention to this. It's 2% responsible. It could be possible, but it will be a real mess. I don't advise it. Only one responsible, please. But it's just for us to check the colors and to check when there's no one here. So that's it. I think we've done the formatting for this. We can check other things here. Are we happy with the color contrast? Yeah. I think so. I'm just going to check again the R here. Conditional formatting, manage. The R. I just wanted to put the number 2, this one, and see if it's a bit better. Yeah, well, okay, so we could argue all day. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to do some basic formattings before we do some calculations here. So the formatting that I want to do here, I want to give it a bit of a orange color, but I'm going to go back here and I'm just going to do under more colors and I'm going to put it very pale. We don't want it to be in your face, but I like to highlight the cells that need to be updated by the users. So therefore here I'm just going to do the same. Here I just go back here, and here I just take the recent color. I don't want to go through the process again. What else do we want them to choose? We want them to choose here. So obviously this, they can update it, they can update this, they can update that. But that they don't need to update it. Actually, we don't want them to update it, otherwise we're going to lose our validation. And this obviously needs to be updated as well. So here at the top, I'd like to do some basic formatting. I want to highlight the guys that have nothing to do in light gray. Not shaming, but just to say, oh, this guy doesn't have anything here. Maybe it doesn't need to be on this list at all. Something else I want to do is if there is no cell here, if it's blank, then also I'm going to put it gray. So I'm just going to select this for the first occurrence, the things that I want to check. So I'm just going to go under, I want to take a new rule, cell that contain, and here that gives me the choice. So if it blanks, what I want to do with blanks, I want to give it a very pale gray here on the left, the first one on the left. So let's see if this is blank, that would give me a light gray, which is what I want. Now something else I want to do is, as mentioned, is I want to highlight the guys who have nothing to do. So how do we do this? In order to do this, I need to do a count A. So if you don't know, count A, it's a very easy way to check if there is something somewhere. So for instance here, if I select the count A and of all that column, that tells me how many things are in there that are not blank. Now here, for instance, you have 4, and here you have 0. That's the one we want. So we just can do a bit of formatting here, but to check for each resource if they have something here, and if not, I want to put a gray as well. So this is going to be conditional formatting on this, and I'm going back to conditional formatting here, and this time I'm just going to put a rule and format value. So when you format a row like this, you need to go back to the first one at the top. So you have to do it for this one, and then Excel will automatically move it across. So for instance, here I just need to check this one and making sure that it is actually freeing up the column, and you need to remove the dollar sign in front. So it's just $E27 here. And then is equal to 0. So when this is equal to 0, we want to gray it out discretely. Say, okay, this guy's got nothing. Let's see if it works. And that's because we have something. And it just, if we add a R here, we have something back. Okay, so that seems to be working. And we have also seen that, okay, if I remove it completely, this is blank, and if this is okay. So my two conditional formattings here work. Now we can move to the next function, which is to, and once again here, this is really optional, but I think this is a nice add-on. Obviously I'm biased, but what I want to do is I want the users to specify what of those RASIC numbers or RACI is mandatory or not. So in order to do this, I'm going to put RACI sign because the letters are included into the RASIC here. So I'm just going to put a sign mandatory, or it's not really mandatory, is highlight when absent. So when there is a task here that doesn't have the sign that I'm going to check here, then I want to be giving a bit of a warning here. And this is the first step, is just to let the users decide if which one of those they want to be present mandatorily for the task. So I'm just going to do a data validation here. Data validation. I'm going to do the list, and I'm going to put yes, no. Binary choice, indeed. So here they would say, okay, I want this one to be mandatory, and I'm just going to put here, I want this one to be mandatory, and all the rest here under, I don't want them to be mandatory. But that's just a starting point. Obviously, you can do whatever you like. That's the idea of this. Now, how do I do this? Now, the tricky part is we have a lot of string search in Excel. You can use search, you can use XLOOKUP, you can use find, and you have all this. But the problem that we have here is that we made it harder ourselves. We just made this dynamic variable. So in other words, someone just might not want this warning at all and just put N all over the place, and therefore there is nothing to check. And someone on the other end of the spectrum, I want you to check everything. So it's variable, it's dynamic. How do we do this? So in order to do this, the simplest way I found is just to create another table here. Another table here. I just make sure I select 5. And here I'm just going to put the RASIC again. Letters. See, that's going to make everything much more simple. Okay, so I'm put the RASIC letter here. So what I need to do is I need to check that if the R is mandatory and if there is no R here, I want to put 1. 1 will be my, guys, there is something wrong here. And then after, to do the conditional formatting or to do the function here, I will just need to check the total for each task. If you don't understand, don't worry, it will make sense, hopefully, later on. Now, to save you the typing, I've already typed the formula, so we can concentrate on what I've done. So there are 2 things to check. The first thing that we check is, first, is it mandatory? So if it's not mandatory, we're just going to put 0 into that cell. But if it is mandatory, then we do a countif. And we count how many times we have found the letter that is on top here, which is the R. How many times have we found that into this row here, delimited by E6, Q6 here? How many times have we found it? So if we found it 0 times, that means we have a problem, because it's mandatory and we were supposed to find something in there. So therefore, if that's the case, I'm just going to put 1. And in all the other occurrences, which is this is not mandatory and we have found it, then we're going to put 0. So let's see if it works. If I press enter, as usual, to do a bit of put that big so you can see what I'm doing. So here this is 1. So if you drag that down, I'm just going to drag it down all the way down. First thing that you need to check, that you need to press on 1 and make sure that your $sign has been following across. Yes, that's fine. Still checking the R, still checking the mandatory, and is checking the row here. Perfect. So we have done that for 1. Now I want to do that for all of those. If I just copy it here, it's going to check this. Is going to check this, which is good, but it's going to check this one now. So, and we don't want them to do this. We want them to check this one here. So this is the only change you'll need to do as you move the formula across. So I'm just going to do this here for this one, check this one. We'll do some basic tests later on to see if that works, all this. And then for this one, I want to check the I here. And then for this one, I want to check the C. Up. I could have hard-coded this, but this way I think it's better. So now what we have is, so this one is in big trouble because it doesn't have anything here. So, and then here I've asked for the 4 to be mandatory. So if I just remove this and I say, okay, I only want those 2, it should adjust accordingly. Now, what I want to do is I want to do a test here. I want to do a sum. I do a sum of all this. And then, obviously, okay, so this is what is going to tell me if there is a problem on that row here. So here, for instance, I'm just going to do a basic formatting. I'm just going to, just so that it's clear, I'm just going to put the hash here, which should hide the zeros. So here we're in trouble. We have a lot of things that are mandatory and that that have not been here. So like for instance, here it's the R RASIC here. It's got a 1. Actually, sorry, I'm just going to put all these because there's plenty of zeros here. I'm just going to do a format cell and I'm going to do the same trick. Custom, put that here. So here, as you can see, the R is almost nowhere. So that's not good. Here it is, but there's no. So there's a lot of things, a lot of highlights that are being shown here. and then therefore that is the problem. But let's say if this one, this task here, if I give it a R and I give it a, there's no problem anymore. So this seems to be working. Okay, so now that I have these numbers, and don't worry if you feel this doesn't look good here. This is going to be removed later on. We can actually hide it. But for training purpose, if you like, I'm just gonna leave it there for the time being. So now for every task, we know if there is something greater than 0 here, we have a problem. Now let's see what we can do here. So I think I want to put 2 conditions here. The first condition I want to put is the task not blank? Because otherwise I'm going to give me this warning for all the blank tasks, and it's going to be a bit annoying. And the second task test here, sorry, is this, it is greater than 0. If it is, we are in trouble. So what do we want to do? We want to give a specific sign, and the only one I could think of is exclamation mark. Let's stay minimalist, and otherwise we just put nothing here. So here, nothing. Let's see if it works on the one below. Just put that here. Let's try and make it big. Okay. So there's 2 ones here, so therefore should have a warning. There's 4 ones here, should have a warning. And even if there's a 2, there's a warning. Perfect. This one doesn't have anything, and this one is blank, so it doesn't. Okay, obviously when there's no task, obviously it's complaining all the time, which is fair enough. But I didn't want to put another condition here, so that'll be good enough. Okay, so just some basic conditional formatting, maybe just to make this a little bit more interesting. Bearing in mind that if you don't want the warning, just put n all over the place. Therefore, you know that shouldn't be a problem. So I'm just going to put equal to here. Oh, this is back to this challenge here. So I'm just going to put new rule. A cell that contains, and here I put not blanks. Not blanks. What do you want for not blanks? I want some warning-ish type of. No, actually, I'm going to stay with this color scheme here. We already have enough colors. Let's see if it works. Just going to put the white font here. I mean, I could have put it the other way, but okay. So how does this look? I didn't want to highlight the full task because I think this is gonna be a bit too overwhelming. So we are making progress. So here, first of all, this, for instance, I could use the formatting of this to put it here. Remember, this color, that's a color that we have selected for what users need to input. I'm just going to add a blank colon here. I'm just going to tidy that up. I'm going to remove view, remove the grid line. We promised that we're going to hide this so we don't distract people too much. Data a group, I prefer this, so this way people at least know there's something here if they're interested in finding out what's behind the scene, I suppose. Highlight when absent, so this is, yeah, they need to input something here. I mean, by default, you could leave it blank. So actually, that might be a bit too strong. Yes, fine-tuning stuff here, really. I mean, I feel like merging those two. And this, obviously, this might confuse them because it's not really useful for them. So I just could put that aside, and I could maybe group this together. Now that makes sense to have it close to this, but now that training is finished, and group, so this way it's all hidden. And this, the users, people using this, or you, self, know what is going on here. Okay, so you just know that you have to choose the RACI here. Here, do we need to put a reminder? So here what you could do is just state is equal to this cell here, and for instance, matrix. So you know this is RACI Matrix. You would blow that up. You put a neutral color, maybe something blue. Blue works for neutral stuff. I don't know if this is going to work. So here you put white. And anyway, just a thought, if you don't want this here, you just have to gonna have to merge and center if you want. So this is, I suppose, taking shape, and then you can have, if you want to, to remind people what those signs are, you could just copying them and put them somewhere, I suppose. They should know, but, and then you put that here, and then you can copy the conditional formatting directly from here to here. And here you put responsible, if that's the way you want to call it. This is blonde font, so that's not going to work, is it? It needs to, voila, okay. The usual bold grid. Okay, so here you select, after you have the definition here, and here if you want to put below, you can as well. So this is how it works. Actually, that looks a bit awkward here. I might just put it up a bit. Doesn't like it, that's all right. We can redo this. Okay, so this is the first go at it. I hope it's okay. I think this one, there's something wrong here. I need to put it back to blank. You select here, and you put the names. And you have a RACI matrix, a good starting point, I think. And then based on this, you can do whatever you like with it. So I hope that was useful, and that's the end of this demonstration. I think I'll put this one part of a project management package that I have. Okay, I see you soon in another very exciting, doesn't get more exciting than a RASIC table, I tell you. All right, talk to you soon.